We have been doing this podcast for 3 years,
almost
2
three and a
years.
half. No,
Yeah,
it's 3 years.
yeah,
It's almost 3.5.
yeah. The channel was created December 21,
Yeah, so
and
like
the first
another
episode
month or
was
so.
January 22.
We're
So
coming
we've
up
been
to
doing
three
it
and a
for a long
half.
time. Yeah, 156 episodes.
Yeah, as you're watching.
Um, we've evolved in that time. We've done different
Oh
things.
yeah.
The only thing that I believe has been since the very first episode is character profiles.
Maybe not the first episode, but definitely early on. Because those first few were on your phone, weren't video.
Yeah. Did we? I have to double check now. I have to know. Actually, wait. I've got the character profiles in here. Character profiles.
But yeah, we
List of
have
characters.
evolved a lot over 3 years. Like I said,
The first one was episode 2. There was
Okay.
not one in the very first episode.
Because you were recorded on your phone, audio,
Yeah.
no video. Then we started doing video off your phone.
Then we finally got the PC.
Yeah, we started doing more segments, covering more shows.
Initially, this was just Marvel and DC.
Yeah, then I squirmed in Star Wars.
Yeah, and then the fucking doors got blown off, and that's whatever we want to watch.
Well, it was Star Wars, and that was fine. That all made sense. And then Rings of Power came around, and I was like, thoughts on covering Rings of Power because Lord of the Rings. And then that's kind of when the doors then blew off because it was just everything and anything. It still is mainly Marvel.
Of course,
DC,
that is the bulk of what we cover because it's the stuff that releases the most stuff in reality.
Yeah, to be fair.
But I think 150 episodes in, we've now got a good idea of what does and doesn't work, what we enjoy doing.
Also it's just we've done the same formats of stuff for at least 2 years now. Like,
yeah,
there comes a point where it's like we kind of need a little bit of change to keep this enjoyable.
100%. Like, it's a lot of work to do. The way we're currently doing it. It's a lot of editing for you. It's a lot of this is what I would consider a quiet week this week, and we still had an hour and a half TV to watch specifically for this, as well as keeping up with CinemaCon, and this is absolutely one of the quietest weeks we could possibly have. We've had weeks before where we've got 6 hours of TV to watch specifically, and then it's not just watching the TV, it's remembering what happened, developing opinions about it, and it's a lot to do before you even get into the editing and the writing out the news and the character profiles and everything that goes into that.
Well, yeah, it's like we've kind of, our attitude has always been from the get-go is kind of more so quantity over the quality, purely because that is how you launch content nowadays. People will try, yes, there are exceptions to the rule, but for the most part, often you need the quantity at the beginning to get things rolling. But I think we've been discussing things, and that you're gonna see these changes in a couple of, we've got next week's episode, and then we're gonna have a couple of weeks off.
Yeah.
Kind of ties in with me starting my new job, but that's just pure luck. But yeah, we're gonna move more away from quantity and more towards quality. We want to bump up the editing quality on some of the segments. So for a rundown for the usual listeners, the podcast will still stay the same. It'll be every Saturday, 1 p.m. If anything, hopefully more of a relaxed chat, which I think is what is enjoyed more on podcasts than the hard segments and the kind of hard jumps between topics, because we did that because we wanted those topics to then turn into other videos. But yeah, we'll be moving down to at least 2 videos a week, maybe a third, depending on what's going on. The Nerdy News will still be here, as always. We will also still have the character profiles. They're 2 things that we know everyone seems to love. They do great. And then that leaves us open to be a bit more loose on what we're watching. It'll still obviously all be mainly the same stuff. And then if there's events on, like CinemaCon, or Comic-Con when we've covered that, or San Diego and stuff. We can have a bit more of a focus and put some videos out for that stuff. But I think the focus going forward is a little more loose on the actual episode and a little more quality on the segments through the week.
I think that's literally the best way to describe it. And especially, like, I know we've discussed it, not so much on the podcast, ironically, that I'm going back and trying to watch stuff that I've like missed out on from like last week or 2 weeks ago now. I managed to finally watch Good Will Hunting, which is like seen as a great film that I've never got around to watching. Now, if one of us sees a film in the week or whatever that we've really enjoyed and we want to talk about, it's going to fit a lot more organically into the way we're discussing what we're watching going forward. Another big change that comes along with the way we're kind of restructuring the episodes is when Josh comes on for his monthly kind of gaming segment, that is going to be basically
full on gaming,
a gaming episode rather than half of an episode is dedicated to gaming and it makes it a bit more muddled. It's going to be, right, we're gamers this week, let's do it.
Also makes it hopefully a little bit more digestible than like 3 hours of a podcast episode. We love Josh, but doing a full thing on gaming on top of like all the whatever shows and other things we were trying to do in a week.
Yeah. And we've been unlucky a few times where Josh's episode has landed on like a 3-episode double premiere week and shit like that. And it gets out of hand quickly. And that's kind of our fault for wanting to cover everything in such detail. And then not really hitting that top end of like 12 things you missed in Daredevil Born Again, episode 6. Like, we kind of got ourselves caught in this, discussing it as a experience and detailed analysis, and we kind of got stuck in the middle of doing both instead of just committing to what we want to do.
We're trying to achieve too many things out of one episode and then kind of making, like you say, landing in the middle point.
Exactly.
Go on.
We've also, I think, discussed, and this is definitely a bit further away, a Patreon type thing.
Yeah, that is something we've looked at.
How we could add value there and make it worthwhile. So that's still things we're exploring. If anyone's got anything they're like, if you do this, that's all it would take for me to know that it's worth it for me, let us know down below. We're always looking out for things and listening for feedback. I think that's one of our best traits is we're very good at looking at information and taking feedback from that information. But yeah, things are going to change. And I know you are convinced that these changes are all for the best and will, although we've been a very rigid format for a decent time now, we've always kept an eye on what's working and what hasn't and tried to tweak it accordingly. But I just think this is now a larger tweak. We've noticed that little tweaks have helped a bit. And now we're ready to kind of, them bits that did work, we're going a bit more full send on them. And the bits that haven't improved from the tweaks, we're like, right, that's done.
Yeah, and like, sometimes with content stuff, you kind of just got to go, you know what, let's rock the boat and do, like, really change some things up. Because at the end of the day, if this does go terribly and everyone stops watching, we can always go back to what we were doing.
Exactly. Absolute worst case scenario, we can just go, right, we'll go back to doing it the way we were doing it before.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to this. So
yeah, I think it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to what we can pull off from that. And if it works that way a little bit more, it gives us the ability to try and do things differently. If we find that by changing it, we're a lot less stressed and stuff's happening a lot quicker, it allows us to maybe try other things. Like I know me and you said when Split Fiction was announced, that could be a cool thing for like me and you to play together.
Yeah.
That not that it definitely will happen, but it gives room for us to consider stuff like that and go, do we have room to play that, and then whenever we're done with it, edit it up and turn it into a couple of videos? Maybe. Like, it creates room for us to try different things if we're a bit more relaxed about what we're doing. But yeah, there you go. We like to keep people updated on what's going on.
We do.